I'm done with subscriptions. Streaming, fitness, razors, vitamins. I've got subscriptions for everything in my life. They lock you in, and half the time, I can't figure out how to unsubscribe. That's why I'm so excited about the new Blue Apron. Now you can get delicious meals delivered with no subscription needed, including new pre-made options. Keep the flavor, ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
That's a pretty good stat. The old buzzer himself,
Wow.
who actually technically didn't win his first 4 games at all.
No, he didn't. But first proper season.
Yeah, because he took over in 1945 with a kind of nod and a wink at the beginning of the season, and then was officially the manager from October. But United were playing in the War League, which was still ongoing, but they won their first 5 games of the 1946-47 season, as we just looked up.
Yeah, you don't remember it?
No, I don't. I'm old enough to remember the 1986-87 season, but not quite the 40.
Yeah.
So, Ed, how the heck are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm not as good as Ollie. Ollie's magic.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because that is a chant which doesn't make any mention of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, unlike basically every other Man United chant. So I was talking to a friend of the show, Cal Gildart, about this, and I think between us, we've worked out that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been mentioned in 8 individual chants now, which I think is it's definitely more than anyone else I can think of.
He deserves every single one of them as well.
Yeah,
well,
he really
and of course,
does.
most of them about his playing career. He needs a managerial song, doesn't he? Mourinho
Well,
had that ridiculous one about playing football the United way, which was not ironic, but really should have been.
So, the complete list of Ole ones is the Ole Ole chant. You are my Solskjaer, obviously, who put the ball in the Germans' net. Oh, what a night. But he's got 3 managerial chants, because the Ole at the wheel, that's the big chant of the moment, isn't it? There was a little blast of Solskjaer's Red and White Army this evening.
I didn't catch that one.
And also he has been, according to Cal, he's also been inculcated into that terrible Jose Mourinho song.
I think that Mourinho song should die, along with that previous manager.
Except it goes, woke up this morning feeling fine, got Man United on my mind. Ole's playing the way that United should. So now I have been waking up in the morning feeling great, thinking about Man United. And we are playing the way that United should.
This is all true, although it is a tainted song. Anyway, we're coming back to the pod, and there have been 2 victories. I should say, actually, before we get on, apologies about the crappy audio last week. I am still on the road, and I am still using a lav mic, but this time is actually working.
So hopefully it'll sound a little bit better than it did last week.
Much like the United team, which has been working just fine this week, with 2 more victories.
Ed, you've tried to move me on to the chants before I got through 7 of them. I have to mention the 8th as well.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I was not familiar with.
Let's talk about them all.
So what Cal said, this is a Euro away days chant, apparently, that goes, Ole Cole and your key. Ole Cole and your key. Ole Cole and your key. The best centre forwards in the Premier League. So that's nice. It's good. It's completes the set. The only other person I could think of who gets anywhere near 8 individual chants with 5, and I might have forgotten one, is Ryan Giggs. So please contact us if you can think of players who've been involved in 8 separate Manchester United chants.
Very good.
So 2 games, 2 wins, 6 goals scored, 1 goal conceded.
A clean sheet against Newcastle.
Should we're recording on the night of the Newcastle game, and traditionally what we do when we record just after a game is kind of swap the chronology and talk about that one first. But for some reason this week I'm feeling talking about Bournemouth first, and kind of going in chronological order, just because in a way, like, the Newcastle game was like routine. It's just,
it was routine. I mean, it was a tougher game, obviously, than some of the Huddersfield, Bournemouth, or Cardiff of the new era, and I guess we expected that, didn't we?
We did,
because of the way Rafa sets his team up and the fact that they've conceded fewer goals than we have this year. So it was different. But Bournemouth was good fun once again.
I mean, it started so well again. I was a bit worried when we didn't score within the first 7 minutes of this game, but Paul Pogba scoring after 5 minutes in that game. And, another brace for Pogba, 2 braces in 2 games.
And different goals as well. The second one rising to head it in, classic number 8 fashion.
The first one finishing off a move that had me jumping around and squealing like a child with delight, because Marcus Rashford sent somebody to hospital.
Someone tweeted, Marcus, don't you know these players have families?
Yeah, Ian Wright was like, Marcus, they have families.
It was an outrageous skill from Marcus Rashford. And I have to say, I mean, there are a good section of the United support, and I suspect, without absolutely any evidence, that the R squared numbered between that section of the United support and the Mourinho truthers is fairly high. Who wanted Rashford to be sold or loaned or got rid of? I mean, he's just an outrageous talent, and he's been playing up front under Ole in these games and doing a great job. And he played 60 odd minutes today up front, and then moved wide when Lukaku came on, and immediately provided an assist. We're counting that as an assist, right? But very good against Bournemouth as well. And it's just a delight watching him and Pogba and Mata and Martial, and now Lukaku coming back into the team, scoring goals, creating chances, playing with freedom, being able to express themselves in a way that the Portuguese manager would never let them do.
And, I mean, nothing could really symbolise that more than the first goal against Bournemouth, really. Just the sheer confidence and audacity for Rashford to... The first move in the move, where he beats the first guy, I feel like that's something we've seen from Rashford all the way through. That's never really gone away. It's almost like the turn of pace, the little skill, but the second one where it's basically like, I don't know, like a high-speed elastico or something, just incredibly quick, pulling the ball away from the defender and going past him. It was just like, the first one was great, the second one was unreal, and the quality of chance he created was extremely high. I mean, United's XG against Bournemouth is brilliant, and that goal is a 0.8 XG goal. Like, that's massive. That is very much putting on a plate, but also very symbolic of the Solskjaer era. Pogba's making third-man runs.
Yeah,
and
which he wasn't allowed to do, and was a big bone of contention under the previous regime. He was just not expected to do that. Mourinho wanted him to be there in the transition, in a defensive role. And here he's breaking ahead of the ball. And sometimes, as we said last week, sometimes there are 4 or 5 players doing that.
Including in the 95th minute at 2-0 up against Newcastle, which is just very pleasing. But yeah, that goal was absolutely spectacular. Just a kind of electric moment. And from then on, it was kind of processional, right? That game. I mean, it was big chance after big chance. The assist from Herrera for the Pogba header, and then the absolutely stunning outside of the boot assist from Martial for Marcus Rashford's opening goal. Well, his first goal.
Yeah,
just before half time.
Yeah, that's right. And then the game was dead. Although Obviously Nathan Ake scored shortly afterwards a goal that will frustrate a number of United defenders, although one that they have conceded several times this season. Good work from David Brooks on the Bournemouth left, and then. But the game was effectively dead by that time anyway, and then United won the second half, which was less eventful, I suppose. Apart from Eric Bailly's aberration, should we call it?
The tweet that I saw about that made me really laugh was somebody said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, play with freedom. No, not like that. That's not the freedom to express yourself. I mean...
No, I think that was the Mad Dogs of a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
What on earth is he thinking? Like, there's just no need whatsoever to do that. But he's Eric Bailly, isn't he? He's definitely got that in his locker. He was having a good game too, and I was ashamed to see it because also I just want to see the Bailly and Lindelof partnership settle because Phil Jones is so upsetting,
Yeah, for everyone, for his manager, for his colleagues, for the fans. He had a very difficult opening half against Newcastle. It settled down again in the second half. But Jones not consistent, Smalling not quite good enough. Bailly and Lindelof, who's improved an awful lot, you'd think would be the partnership. Bailly needs to mature into his role. He needs to not do things like that. And he was, as you say, having a good game. It's a problem for United. The bigger problem, I think, is just in front of the back four. Because, I mean...
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Ed?
Yeah.
Wait, are you about to say that you don't think Nemanja Matic is a very good defensive screen? Because you don't need to say that.
No, I was going to blame Ander Herrera. No, I wasn't.
Because, no, seriously, another 2 games, further proof of this. It's just we know it. We don't need to bang that drum anymore, surely.
No, but I mean, it's we just see it all the time. There's just too much pressure on the back four. Who have their faults? I mean, against Bournemouth, Young played, and he's a far better fullback than Antonio Valencia, for sure. But he has his challenges, and Lindelof has grown a lot this season, and it's good. It's really good to see. And we just need another player to grow alongside him, or we need to purchase one.
And it could be Eric Bailly. That's the thing. It really could be Eric Bailly. It's worth saying that was the only, talking about defenders and the screen in front of them, that was the only chance of note that Bournemouth created. Nothing else above 0.1 XG. So just very, very speculative efforts for the whole rest of the time from Bournemouth, and not many of those either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a total of 7 attempts from Bournemouth. And
3.4 XG for United, and there can't have been too many games in which we got that under the previous manager,
Romelu Lukaku, talking of players that have their faults, came off the bench and scored almost immediately, as he did again against Newcastle. So interesting. I thought the selection against Bournemouth was not at all surprising, because Lukaku had just come back into the setup, and Rashford's obviously playing brilliantly. But I was really heartened to see Rashford keep the starting spot up front against Newcastle. I guess it's going to be more difficult. I mean, it's interesting because the fixtures now, we'll talk about this in the previews, but the next 2 fixtures, Reading at home, which is we might even see Mason Greenwood up front in that one, and then Lukaku, and then Spurs, which is obviously the first really big test. So, but Lukaku having scored twice off the bench, it's going to be interesting whether Solskjaer kind of almost rewards him with a starting place, but I think it would be a kind of pretty bold decision to switch up what's happening at the moment.
It would be, and it would change the dynamic up front. Look, they in this freer front three. It's hard to say. I do wonder whether it will actually help Lukaku a little bit. I mean, I think the problem we see with Lukaku is he's not quite as dynamic as some of the other players we've got there, and it would be an awful shame to lose Rashford or Martial from the team in order to get him in there. But also, he's a very different kind of player. His first touch isn't always perfect, and he's definitely better with the ball in front of him than when the ball into his feet and his back to goal, although that's probably true of our other forwards too. So he'd just bring a different dynamic to the team. Although there were times what did he have against Newcastle, 20, 30 minutes, where he was pulling out wide. United played a lot on the break in those last 20 minutes or so. And he was pretty effective doing that, swapping positions with Sanchez and Pogba and Rashford. And so maybe we've now got the freedom in the team to allow him to do that. And I think that could be a very effective front three, although obviously it's a front three that Mourinho was sort of loath to play too often because they're not likely necessarily to be covering their fullbacks in the transition.
Having said we weren't going to talk about Mourinho that much in the rest of the season, that felt like a particularly egregious and unnecessary one, Ed.
I'm really trying not to, but it's the comparison is going to be made for a while, isn't it?
Yeah. But I feel like we should probably stick the comparison to, because the general tone of the comparison we probably don't. It's like. We all get it. Like Mourinho was a complete shambles and miserable and pathetic, and now everything is joyous and glorious. It's amazing.
It is joyous and glorious, and the question and the reason why this is coming up is that we've got a £75 million forward who's perfectly capable of scoring 30, 35 goals a season in the right system with the right kind of support. He's not perfect. Lukaku, far from perfect, and how do we get him in the team and also make sure that we've got all our other attacking talents in the team? Because if he's in there and so is Martial and so is Rashford, then there's no Sanchez and there's no Mata and there's no Lingard and their choices to be made. But it doesn't half feel like we've got an awful lot of very good attacking players that fit into Ole's system, and that's a good problem, isn't it?
And actually, talking of Ole, he said about Lukaku the thing that's music to all of our ears, which is you ask him to play as a target man and then his back's to goal the whole time, and that's not his strength. So, right. And he was saying he's Solskjaer, so he said he's a good target man, but ... So he wasn't saying that it wasn't his strength. That was a paraphrase, but he very much said you want him facing the goal, which is of course what you do. The other thing that Solskjaer's talked about, and Rashford put a little picture on Facebook of him with like a school teacher emoji or something, I think it was, of him talking to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and listening. And then against Newcastle, after Lukaku had opened the scoring with that scrappy one, Rashford scored an extraordinarily Solskjaer-esque goal, an Anthony Martial-esque cool finish from Rashford, which we don't necessarily associate with him.
No, and there's certainly been times this season when Rashford's been rather rash in the attacking third and given up chances that we know he's talented enough to take. And it was great to see them, go in this time, or this one go in. He's definitely got it. He's got it all. I mean, there's nothing he lacks. In the way that Lukaku has bits of his game that are definitely lacking, and Sanchez seems to be just lacking everywhere at the moment. We'll see whether the
nice assist today.
Nice assist today, and that was nice role in that goal. He had I'd say a tough, I can't remember how many minutes he played against Newcastle, but it was not much was coming off for him, except for that move. So Sanchez has a weakness in that he's barely performed for United. Lukaku's got his problems. Rashford and Martial, they definitely have the tools to be really complete forwards for United and France and England. And it feels like we now have this sort of construct in place where that can all come out and be liberated and be successful. Touch wood.
I've kind of segued by accident onto the Newcastle game. I mean, it's just worth talking about Paul Pogba some more. 2 goals and an assist, an absolutely stunning all-round performance. Hardly gave the ball away ever, won the ball back plenty. It just balled out beyond belief, completely controlled that game, was by far and away man of the match. And I don't know, I just want to, pour accolades onto him. He wasn't as good against Newcastle, but he was absolutely magnificent against Bournemouth in a really telling way.
He was, yes, goals and assists and running ahead of the ball, 115 passes, something like that. Just complete all-round midfield performance. Newcastle, tougher game in midfield, certainly. It was, he had to scrap a bit more, didn't he, in order to get the ball. Not all of his passes and touches were successful. United played in a slightly different way, certainly in the second half, playing on the break a fair bit. He didn't get nearly as much of the ball, but just absolutely magnificent. Let's try that again. But just absolutely magnificent against Bournemouth. Complete midfielder's performance.
Yeah, and he is definitely playing in a more advanced role, isn't he? There's no doubt that a load of this is tactical. And once again against Bournemouth, we saw the fullbacks both press really high up, and that does bring us to the Newcastle game. The first 45 minutes of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era that didn't see a goal. First time we haven't scored in a half of football since he took over, which is mad given everything that's been happening, not just with the previous manager, but the one before that too. But there was a half of football where we didn't score. Now, actually, I thought for the most part, we looked bright, we looked lively, we didn't give up too many big chances. The commentators were making a very big deal of Newcastle's kind of breaks and half chances, but there was nothing that I thought was particularly worrying. And actually, a lot of their breaks came from them, counter-attacking into the space that you'd want us to be leaving if we're playing in the least bit kind of attacking football. But the one thing that was really noticeable from a negative perspective, from a United perspective, is that Antonio Valencia, someone needs to sort out Manchester United's admin, because Antonio Valencia did not get the memo.
No, what? That he was now shipped out of the club? Yeah.
That you are now, as a fullback, allowed to go past the halfway line. You're allowed to overlap. You're allowed to support attacks. In fact, not only are you allowed, but it is encouraged, because otherwise you're leaving little Juan Mata all on his own. I mean,
yeah, well,
it's really annoying.
Valencia had the accolade of being useless in attack and useless in defence. So you're right, he didn't get close enough to Mata. When he got the ball, he does what Valencia does now, which is first touch is to cut back, second touch is to pass it inside. And he never goes on the overlap anymore. He often wanders into the centre of the pitch, leaving huge gaps at the back, which could be exploited. And Newcastle did that pretty well. And Christian Atsu had a few chances and got a lot of space in the first half. And it's a problem. Young's, we were speculating during the game on the Rantcast WhatsApp group what Young's average starting position might be in comparison to Valencia's, and I'd imagine it's quite a lot higher up the pitch. I don't have the data exactly. I mean, you can see his sort of the heat map of touches on who scored and some of the other services. But Young is definitely more effective there, better defensively and better in an attacking position. It's slightly sad to see Valencia's decline, but it really shouldn't be anywhere near the team right now.
And it was just the thing that was just noticeable was just how much it affected the good things that have been happening in the new era, and kind of fully backing up this idea that this, as much as this is about the players playing with freedom and the shackles coming off and the feel-good factor and the confidence, you can't take away from the fact that one of the things that's happening is that there are 4 players in front of the ball. There's support from both fullbacks for our attacking play. This is structural and tactical, at least as much as it is just, as Andy Thomas said on SB Nation, weaponizing the feel-good factor. And Valencia was causing a problem by not joining in the party, basically, because there were fewer options. And actually, that's even more damning against Newcastle, where they are well drilled and well organised and fill up the space really effectively. So in order to pull them out of position, you have to work harder to do that. Now, maybe Valencia was given some instruction along this line, and there was some concern about counter-attack, but that wouldn't really tally up, because, when I don't know if you've ever had a tennis lesson. A friend of the family once gave me a tennis lesson as a child. I had one, and he said, you've either got to stand in the two little boxes at the front, or you've got to stand behind the baseline. You can't stand in the halfway bit between the two little boxes and behind the baseline. And that's kind of what Valencia did the whole time. Neither one nor the other.
True, yeah. Well, you have to anticipate where the ball is going to go and move. But anyway, I've had lots of tennis lessons. So, yeah, I completely get what you're saying. He jogged forward, got to the halfway line, got the ball. I mean, half time, I think I sent his pass map around, and there were 27 passes. 22 of them went inside and sideways, and they were all completed. 5 went forward, and none of them were completed. It was a hilarious pass map. But very symptomatic of Antonio Valencia. He's been a good servant for the club, but he just shouldn't be anywhere near the team. There are better options. Dello is obviously raw, but I'm sure if he was playing, he'd have been much closer to the matter, and United would have been causing problems there. And Young is actually a very effective choice right now.
Yeah, he is, which is funny to say. But then, in spite of all that, we hardly gave up a big chance, and we created a ton, and we absolutely battered Newcastle off the park, particularly in that second half. So the Lukaku goal, of course, comes from a Rashford knuckleball free kick. Rashford, the absolute king of the knuckleball free kick at the moment, and the keeper understandably spills it, and Lukaku, very quick and very effective. That was his first touch. He scored lovely scenes. And the second goal, of course, coming from Pogba harrying it in midfield, knocking it forward to Lukaku, who did very well wide right. Found Sanchez in the middle, and Sanchez took his time. I don't know what the Newcastle defenders were doing, but they all got sucked into the ball, and Rashford had a ton of space. Sanchez did really well to find him, and then Rashford took that kind of sniper's deep breath and then slotted it home. Beautiful. And 2-0 in a game that was looking a little bit sticky, like a little bit trickier. It felt like the kind of game that we very, very, very often have not won 2-0 in the last 4 years.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, 2.55 on the XG there. Only Spurs and Watford have matched or bettered that. Spurs 2.58 and Watford 2.55. This is away teams at Newcastle creating chances.
Right.
Yeah. Like the point being that Newcastle are actually a pretty well drilled team at home. They're very effective at not conceding goals, and United created lots of chances. A very good attacking performance.
Yeah. And we're now up to 38 points, which puts us 3 points behind Arsenal and 6 points behind Chelsea. And again, I was talking to Cal, and he pointed out that because Chelsea drew, that means we've gone from 11 points behind them and Arsenal to 6 points behind Chelsea and 3 points behind Arsenal in 4 games of the Solskjaer era.
And now a plus 11 goal difference.
Oh, God. A plus 11 goal difference. Like, that's not a great goal difference for 21 games into the season, but it's not one that makes you want to hide and not watch football anymore. Today, all day, game was at 8 o'clock UK time. Fortunately, I'm still off work. You're in the States. All season long, if we've been having an evening game and planning to record a podcast afterwards, I've been dreading the game and podcasting afterwards. All day, I've been buzzing about both. I can't wait to watch the Reds. Can't wait to talk about them afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, there will certainly be days when this is not all sunshine and roses and positivity in the weeks to come, I'm sure. But right now, it's awesome. Oleball is sexy. We love it.
I mean, it really is. And it is Oleball too. This is the thing. Like, it's, this is a completely different United in the space of 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's amazing. But it turns out that the squad aren't a bunch of useless clodhoppers. Paul Pogba's worth every penny we paid for him. Martial and Rashford really are the future. You know, it's there are, like you said, there's flaws in that back four. There really are. And we need a new defensive midfielder, but almost everywhere else, we don't need to buy another attacker for 5 years, in any position. And he's playing to the team's strengths. It's so basic. He's talking them up and allowing them to do their thing.
Yeah. I don't know whether there'll be any business in January or not. The one story that went round that was basically said that United would only do loans. But if there is any business, it should all be on the defensive side of things. Right now, yeah, you're right. Definitely don't need any other attackers. There'll be a decision to be made about Sanchez and his role. And yeah, I don't know whether anyone would take him off the payroll with the amount he earns. But bringing in another forward there may be a good option. And of course, but talking a few years down the line, there may be a time that United will want to go to the really elite level because we'll be back at the top winning leagues and going off the Champions League. But, it's getting a bit ambitious, isn't it? Right now, it's good to win against Newcastle because we weren't doing that for the last few years. Newcastle is a metaphor for crappy teams we should smash and don't.
Well, I mean, and the it's only chat is getting a bit silly now, isn't it? Because the it's only chat's been silly all along, because United's biggest problem by miles under both Van Gaal and Mourinho was their inability to get results against teams they're supposed to get results against. And also, who cares anyway? We just weren't winning those games, and now we are. Now we have won 4 of them, and we've deserved to win every single one of them. I think we've obviously we won that first one 5-1, but if you look at the underlying numbers, we're on a pretty good trajectory of things kind of was definitely tightening up at the back, and we're still creating bags and bags of chances. But it's all going to get a bit more real in a week and a half's time when we play Spurs, who are currently second in the Premier League, although City are playing Liverpool tomorrow at the time of recording.
Mm-hmm. And Spurs are flying. I mean, they very good set of results.
Apart from when they lost to Wolves.
Apart from when they lost to Wolves, which was, an aberration. And awful lot of criticism of Pochettino after that game, which I thought was a bit odd. I mean, they clearly, this is not in the pattern of results and performances that Tottenham are putting in at the moment. Anyway, so it'll be a super tough challenge. It'll be interesting to see whether Ole has anything special up his sleeve for that one, or it's going to continue the same pattern of just focusing on United. And certainly Spurs, you'd imagine, would take advantage of some of the defensive mistakes that were made against Newcastle, especially in that first half. It's kind of scary, isn't it? But also mindful that United can cause them trouble.
Yeah, and you say defensive mistake. I mean, there was a bit of sloppiness.
Well, there were big holes. Great big giant Valencia-sized hole.
Yeah.
Left-hand side, which allowed Atsu in twice. Better finisher might put those away.
I mean, a better finisher might have put those away, but they're both, not to just continually harp on about it, but they are both like
low XG,
sub 0.1, basically.
Yeah, sure.
So you'd have had to do real well to put them away. So before we get to previewing the Reading game, our in-depth analysis of Reading. Oh, it's all right now. We don't have to feel bad about this because we don't have to focus on the opposition. We have to focus on ourselves, so it's fine. Ole taking the Rankcast approach to opposition prep. It's nice to see. But before we get to that, we didn't do any Twitter questions last time, Ed. Have we got some this time?
We certainly do. Jason Freeman, friend of the show, says, Phil Jones, that is all.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about it, haven't we? The one thing that I would say is for the wrestling fans out there, his haircut is really reminding me of contemporary John Cena, which that is not a compliment.
He'll be doing bad comedy movies with Someone.
Chris Smalling.
Chris Smalling.
I mean, he's been doing a bad comedy movie with Chris Smalling for a really long time.
Best part of a decade, yeah. Mike Keeney says, would you be happy with a Lindelof-Bailey first choice centre-back pairing?
Sure.
For now, and I think it's probably the best choice, yeah. John Blaze says, how do you feel about a relatively unknown manager being appointed? There was some chat that Michael Rose, who's at Red Bull Salzburg, was on a short list, along with Pochettino, Oli, Laurent Blanc, and someone else whose name I've forgotten now.
Zidane. There's only two people on that list who I find to be acceptable, and one of them is the current manager. I think the relatively unknown thing, as I said so many times, like I'd be kind of interested if United went in a direction like that to build something really kind of progressive. But I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the rest of the season? But so far, I'm not seeing any reason why you would plump for anything other than like proven Premier League success, which I definitely include Pochettino in over Solskjaer at this point.
Yeah, time in the season to go before we make a judgment about Oli and his ability to manage this club. But I'm sure Pochettino is their first choice, and Pochettino will have many choices, so he's going to not play his cards too early, I'd say. So it'll be an interesting summer. Will you guys be able to buy or sell anyone with an intermediate manager in January and without a director of football? Says friend of the show, Chris Etchingham.
Who cares though? Like, why are football fans so obsessed with buying and selling players?
Yeah, well, true. I mean, because there are limitations about what a coach can do, and often it's seen as a shortcut to solving the problems. I do think that some of the problems within the squad at United are unsolvable through coaching, and greater quality will need to be brought in. It doesn't have to be this January. Momentum is there to get United into a decent position by the end of this season. But of course, if there were options at centre-back or in defensive midfield in particular, and United could do something about them, that would be very sensible to do it and give a boost to everyone at the club. Will they be able to do it? Seems not.
And anyway, they definitely could though, because Woodward's been acting as a de facto director of football for 5 years. So
how's that working out?
Well, I mean, in terms of signings,
definitely could happen. Yeah, definitely could happen. I mean, imagine they'd want a sign off of the new manager.
Yeah, potentially, depending on what structure they're moving into. If they are going to bring in a director of football before they bring in the new manager, then you almost need the director of football sign off on the transfers a bit more than the managers, right?
Right. Fergie, Moyes, Van Gaal, Jose, and now Ollie. Jones has managed to play under all of them. How? Asks Robert Smart. Going back to Jones again. I mean, it is pretty amazing. I mean, Smalling's the same, right? So played under and Giggs. I missed out that.
Well, did he? Who played? There was only 4 games. Who played in those 4 games?
Yeah, I'm guessing they might have played. Might not have done. They were certainly at the club. I mean, they both of them, Jones and Smalling, have been very long servants of this club. But they both joined as teenagers, didn't they? Or roundabout. Maybe Smalling was in his early 20s. So, yeah, a lot of games for United. I guess the judgment was out for some time. I think the judgment is pretty much in on these two now, isn't it? Good, solid pros. Nice and honest, but not good enough.
Yeah, Jones. I think Jones was injured at the back end of the season, and in the first game, in the Norwich game, Ferdinand and Vidic started at centre half. It's quite good, isn't it?
They were decent, those two.
Yeah, they were on their way out by then.
Although, if you'd believe the Scouse Mafia, they're not fit to lace Van Dijk's shoes, boots.
Can we have a question that is not about Phil Jones, please? Because we've had 2 already, and I don't know why we're still answering questions about what is there new to be said about Phil Jones.
Paul Chesterton says, what do you think Mourinho is doing right now? Enjoying his money and his family and having a break, I imagine.
Yeah, I hope so anyway. I really do. I really hope he's having a break and just living his life.
Crying.
I imagine he's not watching United.
I imagine he is not, no. If we were as determined to break down a rigid Newcastle team as tonight, how many will we smash past an open Tottenham? Asked the Solskjaer Appreciation Society.
That's a great question. Let's come on to that a bit later in the show.
Good point actually here made by Ole in the post-match interviews and press and stuff. He said, fourth clean sheet from open play on the spin. It's very true, although that may also serve to highlight one of United's challenges. Which one out of Moyes, Van Gaal and Jose should be referred to as he who shall not be named going forward? I know Moyes had the look, but if you're looking for arrogant self-promotion and snake-like characteristics, there can only be one. That's Markinox asked that.
Yeah, I like that one. I mean, Van Gaal's all right. Although, listen, Van Gaal could be just as bad as Mourinho when it came to man management. There's no question about that. But yeah, for sure. Mourinho is truly he who shall not be named.
We know the answer for attacking, but what changes have you seen under Ole versus Mourinho in United's defensive performances? More pressing up front, Sonny Verma. It's that. Yeah, it's not quite, Holland 1974 or peak Barcelona for pressing from the front, but definitely more pressure. Not intense. It's not, it's not the full pack going after the man.
Well, it kind of was in those opening couple of games when the energy was super high. I mean, I think like 4 games, 4 days apart on the bounce in kind of cold weather and all that stuff, you're gonna lose a lot of energy. And I did think there was a kind of an almost noticeable slight drop off in energy against Newcastle and a bit less of that tigerish pressing. But I would say that's definitely been the key change. There's just been the structure on the pitch has looked better as well. I mean, in fact, of course, one of the big defensive changes is less reliance on defending. So we've invited way less pressure on ourselves by our kind of positions, as well as the pressing. The kind of positions of the players when we've lost the ball has meant that they can press, and we've just had massive possession and not sunk into a low block because it's a lot of our most ineffective defending or least effective defending under the previous regime came about as a result of incompetent attempts at a low block.
Yeah. And look, they definitely defended in a different way against Newcastle, and they were happy to sit back, especially that second half when they were happy to play on the break.
65% possession.
Yeah, overall, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's much to be gained from a team that is willing to try to win back the ball in the opening third, or the attacking third of the pitch. Awful lot, and we'll see. I mean, if Poch comes in, United will definitely play like that. They will be hunting down the opposition in packs.
Still had 57% possession in the second half as well. So it's not too shabby, is it?
All right. Are we going to win the Champions League? Asks Lee. That's Moo_CW. I don't know, but we can certainly go into that PSG game feeling a bit more confident now. There was an interesting story saying that one of the things that the PSG hierarchy feared most was Mourinho getting the boot, because they were confident in how United would play with Mourinho in charge, and now not so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer to the question is probably not, but I definitely am looking forward to these. I mean, listen, it's not unlikely that we're going to lose over 2 legs to Paris Saint-Germain. That is perfectly likely. But I'm now excited about these games instead of just kind of quietly resigned and slightly dreading them, but in a very passive way.
Yeah. Jack Johnson says, what was Jose's biggest career achievement? Finishing second with us last season, or taking credit for the first half of this season when we inevitably win the league?
That's a great question. It's absolutely superb. There's no answer to that question, but it was very enjoyable.
Mika Latonen says, to keep the Ole Goodfields train rolling, what was your favourite United goal of 2018? Mine was either Herrera against Spurs in the FA Cup or Rashford against Liverpool. Favourite goal of 2018? I don't know.
Pogba against City.
Pogba against City was pretty special.
Yeah.
Pretty special. Pretty special comeback.
That was my favourite. And all the ones since Mourinho's gone, every one of them has been just great. It's such a kind of, when you're not sure if you're right about something and then you see it and you're like, oh, turns out I was definitely right about this. It's nice. And I kind of half jokingly put on Instagram, falling in love all over again. But it kind of does feel like that. It really does feel like just being excited to watch football is such a nice feeling.
Victor Lindelof asked Alexander Wallow, what's up with him? Calm, collected, good on the ball, had Rondon in his pocket, bossed him in the air. What's up with him? He's a good player. And I think when he first came to the club, we could see straight away he was very good in possession of the ball. He's not likely to lose that and look very nervous without it. And there's still been times when I think, especially at set pieces, as Ole may have been backhandedly pointing out there, where he gets himself out of position. But he's a good defender and he's now showing it. And I think he was showing it under Mourinho as well. It's not just all Ole's doing.
No, not at all. You talked about flaws and he's definitely still, I think, got getting flustered in him. But yeah, he's just, I think we have seen him grow over the course of this season to the point in which he's the first centre-back that gets picked, isn't he, now? So, that's big. But I don't think it's particularly surprising. I think people were very quick to write Lindelof off. And actually, to be fair to the one who shall not be named, I think he was perfectly reasonable to suggest that it would take Lindelof a little while to settle into the Premier League.
Yeah. Given Herrera's performances as a defensive screen in Jose's first season, should he and Pogba be first choice, with the rest fighting it out for the third spot? Surely a better choice for that role than Matic.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking if I was in charge, I think I would try and play Herrera, Pogba, Fred a lot more. But I do think it's been nice to see Herrera play more box to box because it's definitely what he's best at. Yeah.
Simon Zambelli. I'm not going to answer your question, but it's an interesting one. Friend of the show, Simon Zambelli, always ends his questions with something, a bell end, question mark.
All right.
Very nice. All right. Here is a question for you, Paul.
Yes.
Bifurcated_MBM. Friend of the show.
For the greatest friends a boy can have.
Do you brush your teeth with hot or cold water?
Cold. No, not necessarily, actually.
Some people have sensitive teeth.
My cold tap doesn't work very well in my bathroom sink. So sometimes I think I'll run the hot tap. But I don't run it till it gets hot. That's fine. I was given this tooth serum by the dentist and while I was getting a load of work done. And that says add to toothbrush without water. That's that's weird because it means you can't rinse off the toothbrush head before you add the toothpaste to it. I'm not okay with that.
Well, what kind of serum is it?
It's like a micro repair serum. I don't know, some thing that claims to be science and is probably just a lie. I mean, it was given to me by an actual dentist, so maybe there's some science involved.
And final question from Felwar Kamiz. Again, this one's for you, I think. Is Pogba just a goal celebration away from being indicted for crimes against football by Yada?
Honestly, these people and their bad problems in their head. And that, can't even... Honestly. Friend of the show, Carl Anker, messaged me to say they've moved from Pogba's not good enough to Pogba should be more humble about how good he is in the space of 2 weeks.
I know. I mean, he got jeered by Newcastle fans now. I couldn't help but wonder what that was all about. Why?
Yeah.
Because he's a great player. 2 weeks ago they'd been going, "Oh, he's rubbish." So is he being jeered because he dances and posts videos on social media? I mean, because he's confident in himself. When Zlatan does that, it's hilarious. When Pogba does it, he should be more humble. I cannot help but thinking some of this is both the narrative that was instigated by Mourinho and his acolytes in the media, of which there are many, against Pogba, but also this thing about, young, successful, wealthy, flamboyant black men should not behave like this. They should be something else, and it drives me nuts because I think Pogba is doing nothing wrong and performing excellently. And if he wants to dance on social media, so what?
And if they're jeering him because he's United's biggest signing ever, and he's the kind of focal point and target of the team, that's fine. But I think you're right. It sits in the general. I mean, listen, I don't even know. I genuinely can't remember whether we talked about the Raheem Sterling stuff and what Raheem Sterling had said. But what Raheem Sterling said is exactly what we've been saying on this show for years and years and years. And we've known it was happening. It's clearly happening. Listen, Gary Neville is such a good example of Yada. And somebody quote tweeted the Ian Wright, Marcus Rashford tweet saying, "Can we swap him for Gary Neville?" I sort of feel a bit like that about Neville's genuinely one of my sporting heroes, because I've always so admired the fact that it wasn't natural talent that got him where he got to, but diligence and discipline and application and sacrifice and all these things which I hold in great regard. But it's so awful to see his utter Yadaness when it comes to United's young, exciting players, and basically also young, exciting black players. I think this is unconscious bias, obviously, but listen, correlation is not always causation, but this thing is not going anywhere, and it's a disgrace to our society, basically.
Anyway, that's it for questions. We've got games coming up. What do you know about Reading?
23rd in the Championship. That is not a good position in the Championship. I'm going to assume, even though I have not looked this up, that this means that Jaap Stam is no longer their manager.
Yeah, I think he was fired some time ago, actually.
Yeah, right. There you go. Well, they shouldn't have fired him, should they? Because now they're 23rd in the Championship, and that is not a good position.
Jose Manuel Gomez is currently the manager. This is his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18th job in 23 years as the manager.
Huh. There you go. The one thing that we can hope for is that Bacuna once again fouls Juan Mata in the penalty area and gives us a penalty so that we can say Bacuna on Mata. Bacuna on Mata. Which did happen once when Bacuna played for Villa.
Any players you know at Reading?
Yeah, I mean, Leandro Bacuna.
Paul McShane, former United player, is...
your boy T-Blacks, Tyler Blackett. We're talking a lot about that with some friends. I've been talking a lot about that 5-3 Leicester game today. The game where Rooney absolutely balled out Tyler Blackett, who's literally never recovered from that. But he's starting a lot of games. He's made 16 starts for Reading this season.
Good for him. Very composed on the ball. And
he was a long time ago.
He was a long time ago. We've moved on.
There's a lot of players. There's a lot of players I recognise in this team. Chris Gunter, Welsh international. I think possibly record cap holding Welsh international. And Irish international David Mailer.
Vito Manone, long-time Arsenal bench warmer.
Yeah, there's a name that you don't hear anymore. Sonny Aluko as well, up front. Who is, of course, the more famous Aluko's brother. And yeah, I think we're going to absolutely smash these. And the real question is, does Mason Greenwood start?
Well, I mean, he scored 20-something goals, hasn't he, in a few fixtures this season? So a few compilation videos done about Mason. A lot of excitement about him, and for good reason. You know, he's a kind of multi-talented forward. He can play wide or through the middle. Been playing more through the middle recently. He's played across all of United's age group teams in the last couple of seasons, and and people are excited about him because we don't produce a lot of forwards, do we? As a club that has a pretty successful youth production line.
What do you mean apart from
Marcus Rashford?
Marcus Rashford and Jesse Lingard?
Well, he's not forward, is he? Jesse Lingard. Doesn't count. But not a lot of successes of forwards over the years. And this is an exciting one. And why not? Why shouldn't he get a game in a match that United should win easily? Although a cup run would be nice. So don't it up too much.
No, and it will be kind of. I mean, of course, there's a week between the Reading game and the Spurs game, so no issue around players' rotation in terms of what's to come.
No rotation for the game against Reading because it's Saturday morning, isn't it, or Saturday lunchtime?
Yeah.
So not a lot of time to prepare for that one, and it's been a fairly busy period.
Yeah. So what we're going to see in that game, I think we'll see Sergio Romero play. And I think that's perfectly fine. I wonder whether we'll see Smalling back. I think, was he on the bench today? I'm not sure.
I don't think he was. Darmian was.
No. Oh, okay. The reason I was thinking about Smalling on the bench is because Smalling was on the bench in the lineup I looked up earlier of when we played Norwich. That was in 2014, so not directly relevant to this conversation. I wonder whether Lukaku and Sanchez will both start.
They probably should do. Yeah, they both need games. Yeah, and an extra 90 minutes under their belt before Spurs. Yeah, whether they're going to start that game or not will help.
I'd hope that Fred got 90 minutes as well.
He should do. At the back will be interesting, won't it? Because there aren't an awful lot of options. So, Bailly won't be. He will be suspended for this one. Yeah, second suspension. Also missed the Spurs game. So he can't play. Smalling, if he's fit, Lindelof and Jones are the only fit centre backs.
I think he'll play Lindelof and Jones. That's my guess for that.
Yeah, and Dalot depends on whether he's fit, and if not, Darmian will probably get a game.
Yeah, maybe give Luke Shaw a rest and play Ashley Young at left back. Maybe I don't think that would be the end of the world because Shaw's played a lot of football. At some point, we have to have a conversation about Luke Shaw and what he's actually good at, because there's a sort of wide scale assumption that Luke Shaw is good, but I'm interested to know what he's good at because I'm not clear about that. But anyway, that's perhaps a conversation for another day because we've already been going for almost an hour and we've still got the big game to talk about. So let's assume we smash Reading into tiny little pieces. We'll be full of confidence heading to Wembley. Ollie's gone to Wembley. I'm assuming that's not going to make his knees trembly. A happy hunting ground for him, of course, as a player, as perhaps will get mentioned 1,000 times. But this is a whole different kettle of fish. We play against an actual team for the first time in the Solskjaer era.
We will do. I mean, a team that, apart from that Wolves game, has been in a really rich vein of form. 3 at Cardiff, 5 against Bournemouth, 6 against Everton, up to second in the league, pending that City-Liverpool game. He and this has all been done. Pochettino, as we've definitely mentioned several times before, having spent nothing in the summer. And having something like a £40 million net spend in the last couple of years compared to sort of 500 for City and an awful lot for Liverpool as well. So, this is, despite all the talk about Pochettino's lack of trophies, this is the story of the Premier League. This is the biggest success, I think, in terms of sort of points for pounds spent that we've got to talk about, and that's why he's top of United's list. I mean, not only is he a great coach, but he can work with a limited budget as well.
Have you looked up how many goals Harry Kane's got this season yet? While you've been looking at this prep,
I haven't, but I'm going to guess it's quite a lot. I'm going to guess somewhere near 20.
Oh, okay. Well, right. Okay. I mean, he's got 14, which is amazing and way more than I thought he had, and the most in the Premier League.
14 in the league.
Sure. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Sorry, I was just talking about the league.
Well, that's right, because the Premier League is the only thing that counts. And
football
was invented. I don't know. You were talking about Matt Busby earlier, but it didn't make you think of puke because football started in 1992.
So he has got 4 in the Champions League as well. But yeah, 14 league goals in 20 starts. That's another ridiculous season from the absolute ridiculous goal machine that is Harry Kane. And Son Heung-min, of course, been in absolutely blinding form and a lovely, lovely player to watch. Is he going to be gone yet? He's got to go again, hasn't he? So hopefully he'll be gone. I don't know. I don't know when he's going to be available or not.
Yeah, no, neither do I. But I mean, they've got a lot of players who will score goals: Kane, Son, Lucas Moura, Dele Alli, Christian Eriksen. I think even Eric Lamela has got goals this season. So it's all over the pitch and all in pretty good form as well.
And they just score a lot of goals as well, don't they? 46 in the league this season already. Eriksen's on 7 assists, which is Pogba-esque numbers, you know.
We've got 43 in the league.
Yes! We're back, baby! There was that stat doing the rounds that this was, I think, when we were 3-1 up against Bournemouth, that Solskjaer's management was responsible for 27% of United's goals in the league already. It's got to be better than that by now, hasn't it? But you know, we're gonna frighten them too. They're not going to be super excited about United coming to town. I mean, they might be excited about the challenge of it and the fact that it's a big game and all that sort of stuff, but they're not going to be thinking that this is going to be a pushover in the way that it was when they played us earlier in the season.
No, I would hope not. And, you know, it's pretty embarrassing that
we played all right played all right that day. It was really weird. It's definitely not one of our worst performances of the season, even though it was a terrible
really
result.
Meek. It was really meek. I mean, at no point in that game did it look like United were actually going to get back into it. It was meek. Kind of one of those ones where you go, oh, it's done. He's done. And look, it can't get worse than that. And I'm going to imagine it's going to get an awful lot better. And Spurs are open and United will be open. And maybe we'll get a really cracking game in which we get a few goals.
Could be like an old school Spurs Man United match, you know, like when that's like Spurs Arsenal is, as has been widely discussed, probably the current best Premier League fixture for entertainment. Like, you know, bankable entertainment prospects. But in the olden days, Spurs Man United was always an absolute cracker. Loads and loads of my favourite games ever involve watching Spurs and Man United play each other. Maybe we'll get one of those end to end, like 4-3 to us or something.
Yeah, I'd take that. I'd rather have like 4-0. Comfy victory.
It's going to be fascinating. So the key battles, what are the key battles in this? Or can they get the supply up to Harry Kane? I mean, the answer's probably yes, isn't it?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
You know, because we're going to play. I suppose we'll play Matic, Pogba, Herrera in the midfield. They'll probably play the 4-2-3-1 they've played for like most of the season. They have got options, but you would think it's going to be 4-2-3-1 again, wouldn't you?
Yeah. They're not going to play 3 at the back against United. It's 3v3 all the time. So. And especially with this United team pushing fullbacks up, I would imagine they would see that as being too vulnerable. So I'm pretty sure it'll be a back 4. Alderweireld's fit at the moment, so he'll probably play against alongside Sanchez, I would think, and it'll be 3 through the middle. So, I would imagine sort of 2 holding and. Eriksen and Ali pushing forwards and Son in support of Kane.
One of the things I'd like to see is Pogba and Herrera getting right in Eric Dyer and Harry Winks' faces if they play those two as the holding midfielders, like or Sissoko and Dyer maybe, or whoever it is. I'd like to see real serious aggression from United central midfielders and limit their ability to get the ball up to Eriksen in particular.
Yeah, I mean,
so
pressure on Dyer would be very effective. I think the obvious problem for United is that a hell of a lot of runners from midfield from Spurs are going to overwhelm Matic. And so Herrera will need to be in there. You know, I'd like to see more legs in there, honestly, and I think there's a really good case for playing Fred. Just because he's going to get around the pitch, and yes, that means there isn't a holding midfielder there. But like, how much of a screen does Matic offer? Not a lot.
Wait, Ed, don't you think that Matic offers a good defensive screen?
No, I don't. I may have said this before, but yeah, maybe I should say it again.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to come up again, probably when we talk about this, because I have to say, feel good factor or not, I'm not super excited about this fixture. I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to watching the game, but I'm not like, yeah, we're going to batter them. I think this is going to be a real test, and I think it's not going to be so easy to create chances against them as it's been against the teams that we've played so far. And I think they're much more likely to take advantage of holes that we leave than any team that we've played. Obviously, I mean, those are pretty self-evident things, but it's a huge test, and it's going to be fascinating. I mean, imagine if Solskjaer pulls off a sort of unexpected tactical masterstroke in this game, or we get like really outstanding performance from Pogba, say. Because I think if Pogba plays, Pogba's going to need to play really well for us to win this game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then we beat Spurs away. I mean, then we're starting to look at a really exciting rest of the season, aren't we?
Oh yeah, God, what a massive! I mean, it's obviously a massive transition and change now with Ole coming in and all the positivity that he's managed to generate alongside the 4 wins. And let's assume we beat Reading and it's 5 in a row. What a pivotal point this could be in the season if United went to Wembley and won. And within just a few points of Chelsea and Arsenal, qualification for the Champions League looking extremely realistic and all the confidence it would bring. Sure. But this time round, it's not a massive disaster if United do lose. You know?
No, absolutely. I completely agree. And that's one of the things. There's going to have to be some measuredness after this game. Home to Brighton, home to Burnley, away to Leicester, away to Fulham, and then it's PSG. So obviously Leicester away is not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination, but the rest of those are all, you know, proper must-win fixtures, but also they're probably going to win fixtures. So, yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world by any means if we lose this game, but it would be massive to win it.
All right. Predictions?
Well, I think we're going to probably beat Reading 5-0. Probably. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. And then the Spurs game, I'm going to go with a 3-3 draw like that game in the 80s. Remember the classic 3-3 draw?
Wow. Well, there's some bold predictions there. At long odds, as well, I'd say. I think Rantcast Tom, producer Tom, has bet on United. What's he bet on? United winning every single game under Ole or something like that?
No, it's United to go unbeaten for the rest of the season at 50-1.
Nice. Sound bad, I'd say.
Also, Solskjaer to win any trophy at 6-1.
Nice. Why not? I'm going to say a 3-0 win against Reading and 1-1 against Spurs.
I mean, the answer to why not is because bookmakers set their prices in order to be profitable rather than to benefit the consumer.
Oh, no. You're saying they're capitalists, Paul.
Yeah, I am. Anyway, so yeah, that'll do, won't it?
All right. This is odd. It's kind of happy and jolly. We need a few defeats in order to get back into our swing of things.
No, I'm not. I'm so happy to be talking about nice football played by nice people, the brilliant, lovely, delightful manager, and Mick Phelan walking around and Michael Carrick looking all happy. Kieran McKenna.
I did think it was funny today. There's a shot of Solskjaer, McKenna and Carrick all deep in discussion about something, and Mick Phelan sort of lying back there with his tight shorts, staring into space, thinking about putting the cones out on Monday morning.
Listen, Mick Phelan's expertise is on the trading ground, and he was Ole Solskjaer's first call, so, you know. It's Alex Ferguson's assistant manager for years and years and years and years. I think the idea that Phelan is some sort of joke is, unfair.
Unfair it is. All right. Well, we will see you guys in the new year.
It's already the new year.
It's already the new year.
The 2nd of January as we record this, Ed.
We will see you guys after the Spurs game.
Yeah, we can't record after the Reading game because Ed is travelling. So it's going to be after the Spurs game, covering both those games, that we'll be back with another podcast, hopefully early in the week after that. And until then, thanks for listening over the Christmas period. And Patreon backers, stay tuned for more. Everyone else, we'll see you next week.
See you. Bye now.
As ever, the Rankcast is brought to you by the good people who choose to back us at patreon.com/Rankcast. If you want to get involved, please do head over there. Every week we record some bonus content, which is available to anyone that chooses to back us at a level of $5 plus VAT and above per month, as a way of saying thank you. Everyone got that bonus content last week, back to normal service this week, and we decided that we would go for that lowest of low-hanging fruit of content creation, a combined Manchester United and Spurs 11. And the thing is, I think what we're saying is this is like literally the team we would pick if the game was this weekend, isn't it? You know, it's like form right now counts a lot. And so on that basis, I'm not going to fight you too hard on Lindelof, but I bet if you were a Spurs fan, you would be like, it's obviously Sanchez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfectly happy about that, owning that bias.
Yeah. And we're not, I mean, like, if it had been 18 months ago, we might have been arguing very hard for Eric Bailly, but it's impossible to do that right now. No word here for Smalling or Jones.
I mean, there are words for Smalling and Jones, but I choose not to say them.
Marcos Rocco, you need a mad dog in there.
We're fine.
In case the Spurs players get a bit Spursy.
Toby. So we've got Trippier, Lindelof, Alderweireld, Shaw.
Yeah, seems unfair that we've got 3 United players in this
I think we should
lineup.
go with Sanchez and Alderweireld. I really do. I think
probably
that's a better partnership. And we've got De Gea in goal as well. Although midfield, right? So obviously Pogba's first name on the team sheet, right? Mm-hmm. Ahead of Harry Kane as first name on the team sheet.
Mm-hmm. But is he playing an attack?
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.